Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I lost a bet to my 9-year-old on the Super Bowl. I picked the Bengals to win, and I bet him a Lego set. And so now I owe him a Lego set. And yes, maybe it's bad that I'm teaching him about betting, but oh well. I've done a lot of things right. Maybe I knew I was going to owe him a Lego set because I really thought the Rams were going to win. What happens, the problem with betting with my 9-year-old on these football games is that he always wants the team that he keeps hearing is winning. And so I've never beat him in three different, I think I've bet him 3 times. It's always Lego sets that I'm getting for this kid. And I keep losing because he makes me take the underdog every time. And the underdog has not won yet. When they do win, he is probably going to be really mad and not want to honor his bet, and then it's going to be a teachable moment about honoring your bets. Okay, we saw the crypto bowl last night, and for that reason, you need to make sure the more popular that this stuff gets, the more you're going to need protection when you're buying digital assets, and I call it my trifecta: the pure VPN. Which is having a virtual private network installed on your computer. You got to have that. You got to have a Ledger Nano S, and you got to have a YubiKey if you're for logging into like Coinbase. It's the institutional grade security. All these things are. This pure VPN will be in the very top of the description of this video. So make sure you're protecting yourself. Also, I wanted to mention, some of you may have seen me post this picture out of my deer stand this hunting season with a ProCoin News camo hat. Had a lot of people that wanted one. So ProCoin News is now, and by the way, ProCoinNews.com is the official sponsor of the Digital Asset Investor Hunting and Fishing Club. And fishing season's coming up, and you will, I do plan on doing some live streams and some videos fishing from the boat out there. So you will see that, and that will be sponsored by ProCoinNews.com. But they're giving away one of these camo hats, and so go to their Twitter feed. You'll see it at ProCoin News. All right, here we go. Crypto bull looks like, depending on when XRP breaks out of this wedge, the final price for this bull run is between $16 and $37. Now, I'm assuming this tweet is purely about the speculative side of XRP, which has nothing to do with the utility that we all believe will eventually come. And so that's an exciting price range right there. If you're just talking about speculation, it's exciting anyway. I hope he's right. Here's a clip from Squawk Box this morning about the Super Bowl ads. Coinbase was the first Super Bowl ad ever, is my understanding. Listen.
Kevin, I want to know what you think of the Coinbase ad, which broke all those rules, and yet Coinbase now saying, by the way, just this morning, they had 20 million people on their site literally in 1 minute. Where does that land?
Well, it was a generational ad. There was, I think, about half the audience that had no idea what was going on with that ad and were completely confused. And then the other half really loved what it was trying to say. And it scored incredibly well in our data as well. It was number 7 in our rankings. And there was, I think from their point of view, a really well accomplished ad.
By the way, any of you who did not see it, all it was a QR code that went around the screen. And I was sitting with some people, and the second I saw it, I said, that is a crypto ad. And everybody held up their phones and took a picture, and it was like a Bitcoin giveaway, and it basically crashed their site. So a couple of takeaways from that. Coinbase went from 186th place to the second on the App Store after its Super Bowl ad. That's from Blockworks. And then also this, Coinbase's website got 20 million hits in 1 minute after its ad on Super Bowl. So get ready for your friends and family to be talking about crypto all of a sudden. Now, Jungle Inc. had put out what he thought should have been a video, and you can watch this. I don't want to play it because it's got music in it, and I know that I'm assuming it could be a copyright thing, but he did if he put this together, he did a great job. But this is worth watching. It's got a bunch of different influencers and stuff in it. Now, FTX was also one of the companies that had done a Super Bowl ad. It says FTX U.S. President, family offices and pension funds are just waiting for regulatory clarity to invest in crypto. I wonder who could give them regulatory clarity. All right, CZ Binance tweeted this out a few hours ago. No value is created by issuing a coin. Value is created when people use it, build use cases. And I retweeted that and I said, or create your own use case called store of value once you realize that your digital asset has no utility. Call it store of value or digital run a drop gold campaign. And get every crypto media outlet and traditional financial media outlet to shout it from the rooftops, and only it, Bitcoin, until there's a perceived use case. Or as Joseph Lubin calls it, create your own reality. That's what they've done with Look, make no mistake. The media, CNBC, the crypto media, most of the crypto media, except for ProCoinNews.com, have all created their own reality with Bitcoin and Ethereum and proof of work. Because remember, proof of work doesn't work. And I believe that it has been a coordinated effort. I've said it from the beginning and I'll continue to say it. Now, there was an article here by Stefan Hubert that he tweeted out about calling Jay Clayton the man from Sullivan Cromwell. And it made me think about something. I said, I find it interesting that Elizabeth Warren was all about going after Jay Clayton for his Goldman Sachs conflicts. And now we've uncovered the evidence with regard to the Ethereum free pass while he was at the SEC. And she doesn't even give a rat's behind because Goldman Sachs Gary has the same exact issue. All right. And that leads me into this. Listen to this is Ted Cruz. Listen to what Ted Cruz says about all these people's. And I think Ted Cruz is right in what he's saying about how these people are anti-crypto. But I think that Ted Cruz is missing one thing, that if he ever really understood what was going on here, he'd be all over it.
These authoritarians hate Bitcoin and they hate crypto, and it's for the same reason. Why do they hate Joe Rogan? Because they can't control him. He's not subject to their authoritarian power. Why do they hate Bitcoin? Because they can't control it. It is a system of currency outside of the monopoly control of the U.S. government. And I got to say, as I've addressed, I spoke at a big crypto conference in Austin several months ago, and I said, listen, you need to understand this administration, I believe, is going to go after you and is going to try to destroy you. And by the way, that's a pattern of authoritarians. China, communist China, outlawed Bitcoin for the exact same reason. Why does Elizabeth Warren hate Bitcoin? For the same reason that she in China hates Bitcoin, because neither one of them can control it. And the theme through all of this is the power of freedom to be not subject to the arbitrary whims of those in government power.
Okay. Now, I wanted to make a point while he's saying that, and that is, this is the reason that we ask sometimes if we will be allowed to keep XRP. Not a crazy question, in my opinion. Think about this for a minute. The whole premise, anybody who really believes in XRP and what it is, anybody who really believes it, like I do, believes that XRP for the next 100 years will be it'll be like the lubricant of the financial system, a bridge currency, a supranational currency. Well, if that's true, that means that XRP will be a national security issue. It will be something that the government at some point says, yes, this is extremely important to the financial system. Well, it's not a crazy leap to me to think that they could say, well, because this is so important to the financial system, it can only be only be owned by the banks or the Federal Reserve or whatever. Okay. Well, what do they do in that scenario? What if they have to have? Now, they may not have to have your XRP. They may be fine with all of us getting mega wealthy, because ultimately The retail. I think we were for the purpose of testing this system for the last few years. First of all, well, maybe they don't. Maybe they know that there is this scenario too. Maybe they know that once this is finally let go, and trust you me, it has not been let go yet. It will be. Maybe they know that most of us are out at $10 or $20, and so it's not really relevant in the scheme of things. And so maybe on the front end they wouldn't do anything like this. I'm just saying it's a possibility. Look at this. This is the reason we ask sometimes if they'll be allowed to keep our XRP. Not a crazy question in my opinion. $20.67 per troy ounce was paid for your gold when they forced everyone to turn it in to the Fed in 1933. They can do anything they want under the guise of national security. If you learned nothing, and I did, if you learned nothing from the financial crisis of 2008, 2009, you learned that these people will do anything. And it's like Rahm Emanuel said, never let a crisis go to waste. But I think it's worse than that. I think these people create crises so that they can do whatever they want. Okay? That's what I believe about our government and other governments. Never let a crisis go to waste. These people can do anything and will do anything as long as they have a crisis that they can blame it on. Okay? Now, back to what Ted Cruz said. I believe there's a little bit different of a situation going on with regard to Bitcoin. I agree with Peter Thiel.
From China's point of view, they want to get, they don't like the U.S. having this reserve currency because it gives us, a lot of leverage over, Iranian oil supply chains and all sorts of things like that. They don't want the renminbi to become a reserve currency because then you have to open your capital account and you have to do all sorts of things that they really don't want to do. I think the euro, you could think of as, was in part a Chinese weapon against the dollar. The last decade hasn't quite worked out that way, but that was, China would have liked to see two reserve currencies like the euro. And, even though I'm sort of a pro-crypto, pro-Bitcoin maximalist person, I do wonder whether at this point Bitcoin is also should also be thought in part as a Chinese financial weapon against the U.S., where it threatens fiat money, but it especially threatens the U.S. Dollar, and China wants to do things to weaken it. So it's sort of China is long Bitcoin, and perhaps from a geopolitical perspective, the U.S. should be a little bit be asking some tougher questions about exactly how that works. But some internal stable coin in China, that's not a real cryptocurrency. That's just that's just some sort of totalitarian measuring device.
Okay. And then remember this, because TAIG reminds us, we've all been trying to tell people, this is from the Joseph Grunfest letter to Jay Clayton, warning them about national security issues. It says right here, Director of National Intelligence has also reportedly written directly to the Commission's chair regarding this issue and has offered the chair a briefing on the threat to national security posed by the dominance of Bitcoin and Ether with no effective U.S.-based competition. The red flag raised by national security authorities is further calls for coordinated decision-making with incoming chair and administration. And then we get our good old buddy Gary Gensler. That's a big, fat, nothing sandwich. Speaking of nothing sandwiches, here's from Stefan Huber. Listen to this. This is Goldman Gary.
Referencing, but I do think the two agencies have taken different approaches, partly because of their underlying statutes are different. In the commodities laws, the exchanges can list a new contract, and they don't, in a sense, don't ask for permission. And in the securities law, to do an exchange traded fund, you kind of have to go knock on the door of the SEC and get permission. But underlying that, Bitcoin futures and I think Ethereum futures and so forth will exist, and Bitcoin ETFs have not. And that feels a little inconsistent to me. As an observer, and I'm now in academia, right. But it feels a little inconsistent. Even though the laws aren't exactly the same, they're quite similar.
No, I think that's a really good point, and I think that's part of the reason that I said we should go forward is because you already have the futures markets in place, which help to discipline, again, to provide some of the discipline which my colleagues at the SEC were concerned that the underlying markets had no discipline in them at all, and I think some of that we can get by looking to the futures markets.
All right. So, Mr. Contradiction. Now, also, there was this from Jack the Rippler, breaking news. DBS plans to launch retail digital assets trading desk by the end of year. The service applies only to the cryptocurrencies hosted on the digital exchange: Bitcoin, Ether, Bitcoin Cash, and XRP. And who is this guy from DBS? The guy that's the CEO? Well, that would be the same guy, Piyush Gupta, who, wonder if he's any relation to Naveen Gupta. He was at Swell Ripple 2019 in Singapore. It's a small world after all. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that you'll get the truth about Bitcoin and Ethereum here, and you'll get it from a lot of people in the XRP community, but you're not going to get it in any of the other crypto media or on traditional financial media. You're just not. They are not going to tell you the truth about those two. They're just not going to do it. You can get it at procoinnews.com, and you can get it in the XRP community, and that's about it. And the truth will set you free. Thank you for listening.